What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Thursday edition of The Squeeze. I am your host, Tyler Conium. It is Thursday. It's the last day of NBA basketball until the NBA All-Star break. So there's 6 days where we're going to have nothing to bet but NHL and maybe a little bit of golf. So definitely going to have some NBA bets for you today, betting on all 3 games today and wearing the Steve Nash jersey to go with it. Great night last night. We swept the board. It's a 3-0 night. We got the under in the Colorado-Minnesota game, finished at 5. We got the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first period. They won 3-1. They won the first period 3-1, so we got that pretty easily. And the under came in for Indiana and Chicago. It finished at 2:30. We had 231.5, so a 3-0 day. It was a good day overall. We ended up, if you follow me on Twitter, with some side bets. We had the Brooklyn Nets plus 108. We had the Philadelphia 76ers at plus 100. We had Jalen Brunson over his points and assists, so it's a 4-unit day overall, but up 3 units here. And as mentioned, it is the last day before the NBA All-Star break. So we will start with hockey, though. We'll get that out of the way first. We've got the Boston Bruins and the Nashville Predators. As you'll notice, you'll go, oh boy, those are some good odds on the Boston Bruins there, minus 105. I like this bet when you have a heavy favorite, which the Bruins are. They're minus 175 on the money line. But I take away the shootouts and the overtime, and I just say they're going to win in regulation. So we do that. It brings it down to minus 105. We got that at, where did I bet that? Bet 365 for regulation time. So Bruins come into this. They're 40-8. Nashville is 25-20. The Predators are 14-9 at home. The Bruins are 18-6 on the road. The reason I like this bet is the Bruins have been sputtering a little bit after their obviously incredible start. As we all know, lately, they're coming off a 3-2 win in overtime against Dallas. Previous to that, they lost to Washington. They beat Toronto, but then they had 3 straight losses. So they do have 4 losses in their last 6 games. You look at Nashville, they're sort of, they've lost 2 of their last 3. Previous to that, they won 3. I just like this is a really good game for Boston to sort of get back on track. They haven't played in 2 days, so I look for Ullmark to be in net, which is always a great sign for the Bruins. They've been playing a lot of under games, so under is 7-0-1 in the Bruins' last 8. Whenever you're playing under games, I always like the I was going to say the underdog, but like the road team in this situation. Bruins are 41-10 in their last 51 team with versus a team with a road losing record. I don't know why that stat's there because this game is in Nashville. But nevertheless, Predators are 2-9 in their last 11 versus the Atlantic, and they're 7-17 in their last 24 games when their opponent allows 2 or less goals in the previous game. When you're looking at injuries, Forsberg is out for Nashville. That could be a problem. DeBrusk is out for Boston, but I like the Boston Bruins to get right, win this game in regulation. They're 40-8 on the season, so we're just taking the best team in the NHL essentially at even money. I'll do that all day long. Now, let's shift to the NBA. Last NBA bets we're going to make for 6 days. I really like the NBA All-Star Weekend. I'm a big fan of the three-point shooter. The dunk contest, as we know, it is definitely not what it used to be. I actually think that I would just cancel the dunk contest. Do people still like watching it? Everything has been done. You're getting guys that no one's ever even heard of. Remember, it used to be you had to be an NBA All-Star to get into the dunk contest. I think either go back to that, you can it entirely, or you come up with something different. So the NHL, who just had their All-Star Weekend, they took a fair amount of criticism for kind of the silly stuff they did, but at least they tried something different, which is what I wish the NBA would do as well. Try something different. Make the three-point shoot at the main event. You've got a lot of stars in there, so maybe we hop on and sprinkle some bets down on All-Star Saturday night. But if not, this is our last NBA bet for 6 days, so let's bet all 3. Let's start in Phoenix. For the Suns jersey, we've got the Clippers visiting the Suns. Clippers are 32-28. Phoenix is 32-27. Both teams have battled with injuries, whether it was Devin Booker, whether it's Kawhi Leonard, whether it's Paul George, whether it's now Kevin Durant, who has not suited up for Phoenix yet and won't until after the break. Phoenix is 20-9 at home. LA 17-15 on the road. I don't know. I think this is going to be a great basketball game. I'm very excited to watch this basketball game, but I don't really want to pick a side in this necessarily, so I'm just going to take a total. Total is set at 224.5 or minus 110 at BetMGM. On the season, the Clippers are 34-26 to the under. Phoenix is 32-27 to the under. So these are under teams. For the Clippers, under is 5-0 in their last 5 versus a team with a winning straight-up record. Under is 4-1 in their last 5 Thursday games. And then when you look at Phoenix, under has been 5-1 in their last 6. Under is 5-1 in their last 6 and their opponent scores 100 or more in their previous game. Under is 5-1 in the Suns' last 6 after they scored 100 or more points in their previous game. And when they face each other, under is 6-0 in the last 6 meetings. So it's very similar to the bet we made yesterday with Chicago and Indiana. I just went down the list and just went under. And that's what we came out with. At home, Phoenix is 17-12 to the under as well. So I look for this to be a hard-fought game. It's the last game before the break. In baseball, you traditionally see more high scoring before guys go away, but not really the case in the NBA. So I expect this to be a hard-fought defensive battle. Two good teams looking to just make their way in the West. So under 224.5 for -110 at BetMGM. And our last bet of the day is a 2-team moneyline parlay. I was looking at both of these lines. I like Minnesota. I don't know if I like them at -2.5. I really like Milwaukee, but I don't really like -7.5. There's some doubts whether or not DeRozan's going to play against Milwaukee. He missed the last game. So I'm just going to keep it relatively simple and just do money lines. As mentioned, DeRozan may not play for Chicago tonight. The Milwaukee Bucks have won 10 straight basketball games, and the Chicago Bulls have lost 5 straight basketball games. There's your analysis for that game. Milwaukee is 40-17. They're 16-12 on the road, with Chicago is 16-12 at home. Again, dealing with injuries, Bucks are 5-0 ATS in their last 5 road games. Bulls are 0-5 ATS in their last 5 overall. Bucks are 13-3 ATS the last 16 times they've played in Chicago. Mentioned for injuries, DeRozan is unlikely. Dragic is unlikely. Giannis is probable. Connaughton is out, but I think that the Milwaukee Bucks get this done. Giannis is going to have a big game rolling into All-Star Weekend where he is one of the premier players there. So I like for the Bucks to get it done in Chicago. And the other bet is the Minnesota Timberwolves. I like them to get it done at Washington. T-Wolves come into this. They're 31-29, while Washington is under 500 at 27-30. On the road, Washington only 13-18 this season, while Minnesota is 20-12 at home. They've been very good at home because they haven't been very good on the road. When you look at lately, Washington's actually played somewhat well lately. They are 6-2 ATS in their last 8 games following a win. Minnesota's been playing a lot of over games. Wizards are 5-0 in the last 5 times they've played in Minnesota, but I don't really think that's going to matter very much. I think Minnesota is the better team. I like them at home. They've won 2 of their last 3 games. And when you look at the way they've played at home, ATS, Minnesota is 17-15 at home ATS, and I think they're going to be able to get it done. They're going to take this one from Washington. I've watched quite a few Washington basketball games lately, and I don't really like what I see. They're kind of all over the place. They don't have the consistency, whether they have Beal, whether they don't. I think Minnesota's going to look to get it together and make a run here in the second half, and it starts now. I also like the fact Minnesota's coming off a 4-game road trip, and they get to play at home and then head into the break. So I think their guys are going to play with a lot of enthusiasm. So I like them there. And the straight up, they're 136 straight up. So I actually don't mind that bet if you just want to bet it straight up. But we will do a parlay instead. So those are your Thursday bets. Shall we run back down the card? I like the Boston Bruins on the money line in regulation for -105 at Bet365. I like the LA Clippers and the Phoenix Suns to go under 224.5 for -110 at BetMGM. And I like a 2-team money line parlay, Milwaukee Bucks, Minnesota Timberwolves for +126 at DraftKings. As always, drop a comment if you're fading or following. You can follow me on Twitter at Tyler Conium for more picks and props throughout the day. TikTok and Instagram for your Just the Picks portion of these videos. And audio-only versions available on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Big weekend. We've got NBA All-Star Weekend. We've got the Elimination Chamber if you're a wrestling fan. It's just going to be a fun time. So let's talk some sports.